Hello, this is Bob Carswell, Fáilte agus a Chléir Seo. Welcome to this programme, which is about the varied and changing face of music making in the Isle of Man today. And I'll be talking to some of the musicians who are making modern Manx music. Annie Kissack, you're the musical director of Caarjyn Cooidjagh. What was the idea behind, what was the philosophy of Caarjyn Cooidjagh when they first got started?
We didn't set out as a group to have any particular route, I don't think. It really just came from my own enthusiasm for Manx songs and for wanting to sing them with a few other people, and because I felt a bit shy about doing things on my own, and thinking there was a lot more in terms of songs than people were generally singing at the time. There was a lot of interest in instrumental music. I suppose we're talking at the end of the 80s here, and of course earlier, but not so many songs being sung. And I was pleased that there were a group of friends who gradually joined me, and we thought, well, we'll have a go at some of these things. And I suppose after we got a couple of years under our belts, maybe we did develop a philosophy, if you like, quite simply, that we were going to sing Manx songs or songs connected with the Isle of Man. And we could do that. We were Manx speakers, or Manx learners anyway at the time, so it seemed a good way forward to go. And there was a lot of material to use. People hadn't really been using, as far as I know, up to that point, so it was quite good. So we have sort of kept to that. We either sing things that are in Manx, mostly in Manx, or sing things that are connected with the island in one way or another. That might be in English, but that's probably the minority of our music even now. And the preference of the choir as a whole these days is still for Manx Gaelic songs over anything else. Sometimes I think we sing things in a choir-like way, depending on how the music's been arranged. Sometimes we sing things in a more, not a rough way, but a more vigorous way. I don't think all songs should be treated in the same way. Some songs aren't arranged as such, but we have a basic idea of types of harmony we might do, and those people who are so inclined to make things up have the freedom to do that within the general framework. Other songs, I suppose, particularly religious songs, probably benefit from more formal sorts of arrangements, and it does tend to be me who makes up the arrangement, certainly to the songs we sing in Manx. We do sing other things, perhaps a few things in West Gallery tradition, which obviously have their own arrangements, and when we come to that sort of music, it's a case of pick and mix. We do take liberties with things. We change keys, we think, oh, we don't like that, we'll alter that. And that applies to music written by me as well, and harmonies. If the choir don't like certain things, or they can't sing it, or we get fed up, we do alter things quite a bit, and things evolve, but often things stay the same as well, and we find out over time which things work and which don't work. Most things attempt to write, we end up performing at some point. There are a few that never see the light of day. Everybody practices, but we never actually perform them. But most things do get performed. We do go back over older things now and think, gosh, was that really 20 years ago or whenever when we first performed that?
What's your musical background?
Not particularly formal. I did some piano lessons when I was at school, but only for 2 years, so I had a rough idea about harmony. I did music O-level at school, and then when we got on to do the A-level, I was given the option to do music theory as that sort of bit, and I was inclined towards that. I thought it was interesting. I didn't always get how or why it was working, but I always had the confidence to sit at a keyboard and to make chords and to think they would go together, to shut my eyes and just let the fingers find their way around. And I don't quite know how that works, but I still seem to be able to do that, and it still is the basis of how I make harmonies. But over the time, you fill in some of the gaps in your knowledge, of course. And I'm fortunate in the choir in many ways that there are, I think, 4 or 5 music graduates there amongst them. They do know more than me, but if they're happy enough to do what I've written, I'm happy enough it's good enough to do. So I don't angst too much about whether I've committed cardinal sins against arrangements or anything like that. Just do it. Go by instinct for things, go by your ear. I don't think you can go too far wrong if you do that.
What about the Manx element of the songs?
That's really important. Not everybody speaks Manx fluently in the choir, but everybody has to have a commitment to improving, if you like. There are quite a number of fluent speakers amongst us, so they tend to come knowing why the Manx songs are important, not just for the songs, but for the Manx. I suppose we want people to think that Manx is not a scary thing, or it's not something that doesn't belong to you, or it's not accessible. I suppose it's had an image problem in the past of being connected with perhaps old fellas muttering away, and it's usually parodied, isn't it, the likes of Stedfords and that sort of thing, and not as a language for something that might be quite attractive to listen to. So I suppose consciously trying to make something that's accessible to a wider number of people than people who are Manx language enthusiasts. And I think that is happening gradually, not just with our choir, but with Cloggery too, with Clare Kilgallen's choir in the north. We're getting a larger number of requests year by year to perform in completely different contexts, and people who have no interest whatsoever in Manx are coming up and saying, well, that's really good, that's fantastic, we're interested. Even occasionally it's enough to get people to want to join, so it's worth doing. And attitudes to the language have changed generally. We are part of that to an extent.
Tashin choler erechim, golar ashkas manen din, alas fermat me malak ergenaga. Tashin choler ishachus, as the heinen and gosus, tashin jichen and daita chitta gera. Tashin choler saxafut, as na felshin come ovlet, as a shent and tourist hanchit Kissack. Tashin choler erechim, golar ashkas manen din,